Welcome to Best Wonders, where today we'll be showing you surprising things you never knew about King Charles III. But before we continue, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you get more videos like this. Now, let's move on to the video. He was the longest heir-in-waiting. When the time came for King Charles III to assume the position at the age of 73, he was more than prepared. He is now the British heir who has served the country the longest, and his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, succeeded to the throne. He was just 3 years old. In an interview with CBC Radio, Matthew Halton said that if his mother, a princess, and his grandfather, a king, both lived to be old, he wouldn't become king anytime soon. Before taking the throne, he might be 50 or 60 years old. When Charles was just 9 years old, he was given the title of Prince of Wales. Only male heirs are given the title Prince of Wales. Nevertheless, it is not a definite position. King Charles moved from third to second in line to the throne in 1958 after the death of King George VI in 1952. Although King Charles was the longest-serving Prince of Wales, he may have kept the title for much longer if he had been anointed earlier. Prince of Wales and its conjoining title Earl of Chester were bestowed upon him when he was 9 years old. He suffered bullying at school. Even if you may be royalty, bullying can still affect you. Young people can be cruel. King Charles attended a boarding school in Scotland where he was frequently teased by the other students. Charles didn't respond in kind, but he was honest with his family about it. He stated in a letter from 1963 that, "Gosh, they are horrible. I don't see how someone could be that vile," regarding the residents of his dorm. He has a lot of experience painting. Charles is a talented artist. He is actually one of the most well-known living artists in the UK right now. King Charles primarily paints landscapes in watercolor. His artwork has brought in close to $3 million in sales since 1997. The proceeds from the sale of his lithographs, which range in price from $3,600 to $21,000, are given to the Prince of Wales Charitable Foundation. He drives a car that uses wine as fuel. The Queen gave Charles an Aston Martin for his 21st birthday. Despite how amazing it was, the vehicle used a lot of gasoline and produced a lot of carbon emissions. Charles was particularly concerned about the ecology, so he took this up with the engineers at Aston Martin, who informed him that the automobile could operate on white wine or waveland. Charles explained, "I responded, well, I won't drive it then." So they continued, and now they confess that it runs better and is more powerful on that field than it is on petrol, despite their advice not to use this blend for gasoline in his vintage car. He belongs to an enigmatic magic club. Magic tricks are Charles's favorite pastime. After pulling off a cup and balls trick, he was even admitted into the Magic Circle, a club for magicians, in 1975. He received the invitation from his great-uncle Earl Mountbatten, who had spent more than 20 years as a member of the exclusive association. Nevertheless, the decision to enlist him in the club had already been made, and that evening, he received his certificate. He had no actual desire to wed Diana. Nothing altered the reality that Charles never got over Camilla Parker Bowles, his first love, despite the fact that Charles and Diana had only met 13 times prior to getting married. When Camilla was introduced to Charles when he was 23, he immediately fell in love with her. However, soon after, he left for the Navy, and by the time he returned, Camilla had become engaged to her previous love. Even his buddies knew that Andrew Parker Bowles wanted to skip the wedding. In referring to Charles's love for Camilla, Diana was infamous for stating, "There were 3 of us in the marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Gift-giving is not Charles's strong suit. After Ozzy Osbourne's nearly deadly quad bike accident in 2003, Charles gave him a bottle of whiskey in early December as a get-well present. Ozzy Osbourne was a recovering alcoholic at the time, so it goes without saying that his wife Sharon wasn't overjoyed by the gesture. A frog was named after him. The Hyloskirtus Prince Charles, sometimes known as the Prince Charles stream tree frog, is a newly found and critically endangered species of Ecuadorian tree frog. To honor Charles's efforts to conserve the rainforest, The frog was given his name in the Journal of Zootaxa. Charles has long been a strong advocate for environmental protection and the need to combat climate change. In addition, in 2007, he founded the Princess Rainforest Project as a nonprofit organization. He has an extremely selective palate. It's well known that Charles is a finicky eater. His eggs must be boiled for exactly 4 minutes. Additionally, he requests 7 cooked eggs and tea muffins every day between 4 and 5 p.m. Eggs or wheat germ, cereal with honey, apples, and tea make up his morning. There are more. He instructs his cooks to top every meal with poached egg, simmer his veggies in a certain mineral water, and use high-grove oranges and damsons to brew his orange and damson gin. Lamb with risotto with wild mushrooms is one of his favorite dishes. He is a workaholic. King Charles III is an excessive worker. He used to work every day of the week when he was a prince. He frequently got to work after breakfast and didn't finish until after midnight. Additionally, there is the BBC documentary Prince Son and Heir Charles at 70. In reference to his father's remarks in the documentary, Prince Harry remarked that he does need to slow down. This is a man who eats dinner at an absurdly late hour, goes to his work later that evening, and will often doze off while reading his notes, waking up with a piece of paper glued to his face. His intense work ethic, according to his wife Camilla, is a result of his desire to alter the course of the world. He survived an avalanche in 1988. In 1988, Charles was out on the slopes in Switzerland skiing with several buddies when an avalanche tore down the mountain. Hugh Lindsay, a former royal advisor, and one member of Charles's group was killed by this natural calamity, but Charles miraculously avoided injury. Charles was allegedly crying when he was picked up by a chopper. It does seem like a significant enough incident to disturb someone, yet things continued to become increasingly difficult. It was eventually discovered during Charles's investigation after Major Lindsay's death that an avalanche warning had been issued earlier in the day. Charles chose to disregard it, and the others did the same. He is Dracula's distant relative. Charles is therefore not Dracula's direct descendant, but he is linked to Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad Tepes in Romania, the warlord from the 15th century who served as the basis for Bram Stoker's Dracula tale. According to NPR, Prince Charles stated in an interview from 2011 that Transylvania was in his blood and that his genealogy proved that he was a direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler. Did you know any of the interesting facts in this video? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell for more of the world's best wonders.